You've got this incredible force inside you, a force that's capable of greatness, but the world will try to distract you, pull you in different directions, and drain your energy. There are places, mindsets, and situations where you cannot afford to waste your energy because that power inside of you needs to be channeled into the things that truly matter. Let's talk about 5 places where you absolutely cannot afford to waste your time or your energy. First, let's address the past. Listen closely. The past is gone. It's done. The mistakes, the failures, the things you wish you had done differently, they are nothing more than a lesson. You don't need to keep reliving those moments, those regrets. Those moments aren't a reflection of who you are now or who you are becoming. Stop wasting your energy trying to rewrite history. The only moment that matters is the one you're in right now. Use that moment to build your future. Learn from your past, but don't let it dictate your future. Next, let's talk about negative people. They show up in every area of life like energy vampires. These are the people who try to pull you down, who love to complain, who are always focused on what's wrong with the world and everyone in it. These people will steal your energy without you even realizing it. You can't afford to let these people into your mental space. Protect your energy fiercely. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who challenge you to be better, who inspire you to keep moving forward. The right people will fuel you, not drain you. Then there are the uncontrollable circumstances. You've got to recognize what's in your hands and what's not. You can't control everything. You can't control other people's actions. You can't control the weather, and you sure as heck can't control everything that happens in the world. But you can control how you respond to those things. Don't waste your energy on trying to control what you cannot. Focus on what you can change. Put your energy into your actions, into your responses, and into making the most of every opportunity. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. Perfectionism will have you spinning in circles, constantly tweaking, constantly adjusting, waiting for everything to be perfect before you take that step. But here's the truth. Perfection doesn't exist. Striving for it will only lead to frustration and delay. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to act. The perfect moment is the moment you decide to move forward. Don't waste your energy in the pursuit of something that's not real. Just take action and the rest will fall into place. The fear of failure. This one stops so many people in their tracks. The fear of failure keeps you from trying new things, from stepping outside of your comfort zone, from taking risk. But failure isn't the end, it's a stepping stone. Every great success story has failure woven into it. It's how you rise after the fall that defines you. Don't let fear keep you from playing the game. You were made for more. You were made to rise, to fall, and to get back up stronger. Don't waste your energy on the fear of failure. Embrace it, learn from it, and move forward. There's so many places in life that can drain your energy, but the key is to protect your energy, to focus it on what moves you forward, on what's within your control, and on what truly matters. When you stop wasting energy on these 5 places, you free yourself to channel that energy into creating the life you were meant to live. You are limitless. The past, my friend, is a place you simply cannot afford to live in anymore. Let me ask you this. How much energy have you poured into thoughts, regrets, and mistakes that have already happened? How much mental and emotional space have you given to things that you can't change? I'll tell you something. If you keep living in the past, you're robbing yourself of the power that's right in front of you. You're letting yesterday's failures steal the potential of today. I want you to hear me clearly. The past is a place to learn from, not a place to live in. We all have things we wish we could do over. We all have mistakes, regrets, things that we look back on and think, if only I had done this differently. But here's the thing about the past. It's gone. It's like a book you've already read. It's over. There's no chapter you can go back and rewrite, no sentence you can rephrase. The story is done. And every second that you spend focusing on those old chapters is a second you take away from the new chapters you're meant to write in your life. What we don't realize is that when we're focused on the past, we're literally using our energy to keep a door closed that needs to be opened. Imagine trying to drive forward while your rear view mirror is the only thing you focus on. How far do you think you'll get? You'll be stuck, constantly looking backward, constantly reminded of things you can't change. That's what happens when we let the past dominate our thoughts. We trap ourselves. We create a cycle where we let old hurts, old failures, and old beliefs keep us stuck, locked in a place that's already gone. And here's the thing, every time you focus on the past, you dilute your power. You're taking away energy that should be spent on creating the future you deserve. Think about it. How many times have you beat yourself up for something you did 5 years ago or even 5 minutes ago? That energy, gone, wasted. It's like running on a treadmill, thinking you're moving, but you're not going anywhere. But let's take a moment to flip this. What if I told you that everything in your past has made you stronger, wiser, more prepared for what's coming next? Every mistake you made, it was a lesson. Every setback, it's building you. Every painful moment, it's shaping your character. I'm not saying that your past wasn't hard or that you don't have scars. What I'm saying is that those scars don't define you. They don't own you. They're part of your story, yes, but they're not your identity. You are so much more than what you've been through. The moment you start to accept this is the moment you start to take back your power. When you stop letting the past hold you down, when you stop replaying those old tapes in your mind, you free yourself to create a future that's bigger, bolder, and more aligned with your true potential. You start putting your energy into action, into growth, into your next step. But let me tell you, I've been there. We've all been there. But the moment you stop identifying yourself with your past mistakes is the moment you step into a whole new version of yourself. No longer are you the person who failed. You're the person who learned. No longer are you the person who made the wrong choices. You're the person who now makes wiser decisions. You're not the sum of your failures. You're the sum of your ability to rise, to learn, to improve, and to move forward. Imagine if you spent just a fraction of the time you currently spend looking back, looking forward instead. Imagine what you could do with all that energy. You could take action, you could take risks, you could build relationships, create opportunities, and most importantly, create a life that you're proud of. The past, with all its pain and lessons, is the foundation, not the final destination. It's not the place where you need to keep your focus. Your focus should always be on what's possible. Your focus should be on what you can do right now, today, to take the next step forward. If you're ready to stop living in the past, here's what you need to do. Release it. Let it go. Stop rehashing every detail in your mind. Forgive yourself, forgive others, free yourself from the stories that keep you small. It's time to turn that page, to stop writing in the past tense and to start writing in the present and the future. Your energy is far too valuable to waste on what can never be changed. It's time to let go and shift your focus to the possibilities ahead. And when you do this, when you choose to stop living in the past and start living in the present moment, that's when everything changes. That's when you start to unlock the full potential of who you're meant to be. You'll realize that the real power comes from living in the now, from using the lessons of the past to fuel the actions of today. And that's where you'll find your freedom. Let's talk about the people in your life, the ones you allow to influence your energy. You see, we all have those people, whether it's in our family, our circle of friends, or even in the workplace, who seem to have an incredible talent for draining us, for sucking the life right out of us. These are the people who focus on the negative, who criticize instead of support, who never have a good word to say. They love to complain, to talk about what's wrong in the world, to pull you into their own downward spiral. I call these people energy vampires. And the truth is, you cannot afford to let them drain your power. Now, I'm not saying you have to cut everyone out of your life who's having a hard time or going through struggles. We all face challenges and we all need support sometimes. But there's a difference between someone who's looking for help, who's seeking solutions, and someone who's just stuck in their negativity and wants to pull you into it. That person who constantly complains but never takes action to change their situation, that person is taking your energy without even realizing it. And here's the real kicker. The more time you spend around these negative, toxic people, the more you start to absorb their energy. Their problems become your problems. Their pessimism starts to seep into your own mindset. Their inability to see solutions clouds your own vision. Think about it for a moment. When you're around people who always focus on what's wrong, who are always quick to point out flaws or mistakes, how do you feel? You feel drained, don't you? You feel like there's a weight on your shoulders. Maybe you start to doubt your own abilities. Maybe you start to feel like nothing you do will ever be enough. It's like walking around with a cloud above your head, and before you know it, you're carrying that cloud with you everywhere you go. But let me tell you something. You are not responsible for carrying that cloud. You are not responsible for their negativity. And the longer you let these people influence your energy, the longer you allow them to shape your mindset, the more you delay your own progress. You're not just taking on their emotional weight, you're also giving up your own power. Every minute you spend absorbing that negativity, you're not spending that energy on the things that matter most to you, your dreams, your growth, your success. Here's the truth, you can't afford to give away your energy to people who aren't ready to rise with you. If you surround yourself with people who constantly bring you down, you will find yourself stuck in that same low energy state. It's easy to be dragged down into negativity. It's easy to start seeing the world through the same lens of doubt and fear that those around you see it through. But it's much harder and much more powerful to rise above that, to refuse to let anyone else's mindset become your own. Now, that doesn't mean you should build walls and shut everyone out, but you need to be incredibly mindful of who you allow to occupy your mental and emotional space. You need to be intentional about who you spend time with. Are these people lifting you up? Are they challenging you to become better, to think bigger, to move forward? Or are they just holding you back with their own fear and negativity? If you want to go places in life, if you want to grow, you need to surround yourself with people who see the world the way you want to see it. People who believe in possibilities and solutions and hope. You need people who will tell you, I believe in you, not people who say that's never going to work. You need people who will help you rise when you fall, who will cheer you on when you're on the edge of taking that next step, and who will help you stay focused on the bigger picture. These are the people who will fuel you. These are the people who will encourage you to keep going when things get tough. It's simple. If you want to elevate your life, you need to elevate your relationships. You need to stop wasting your energy on people who bring nothing but negativity, who keep you stuck in a cycle of doubt and limitation. That doesn't mean you have to sever ties with everyone who's ever had a bad day, but it does mean you need to protect your energy. You need to prioritize relationships that are positive, supportive, and empowering. You need to build a network of people who challenge you to be your best self, who encourage you to take risks, to grow, to break through your limitations. And here's what happens when you do this. Your energy shifts. Your mindset shifts. Your entire life starts to change. When you stop letting toxic people drain you, you make room for the positive, empowering relationships that will propel you forward. You start attracting people who support your goals, who understand your vision, and who believe in your potential. The more you guard your energy and surround yourself with people who uplift you, the more you'll see your own power grow. You have the ability to choose who you allow in your life. You have the ability to protect your energy and channel it into the things that matter. Don't let anyone, especially toxic, negative people, steal that power from you. Your future is too bright to let anyone dim your light. Choose wisely who you share your time and energy with, because the right people will lift you higher than you ever imagined. And the wrong ones, they'll keep you stuck, draining you of everything you've got. Your energy is one of your most precious resources. Protect it, nurture it, and surround yourself with people who make you feel alive. That's how you move forward. You've got to understand something that's incredibly important. There are certain things in life you simply can't control. The sooner you accept this, the more energy you'll free up for the things that actually matter. Think about it. How often do we waste our time and mental energy trying to control things that are completely out of our hands? The weather, other people's actions, world events, situations that are beyond our influence. They all demand attention, but they are beyond our control. And here's the kicker. When you waste energy on things you can't change, you start to feel powerless, and that's a fast track to burnout. How much time have you spent stressing about something you couldn't control? We've all been there. Worrying about the economy, worrying about a decision someone else made, worrying about the future, worrying about what other people think. And how much of that worry has ever actually changed the outcome? None of it. Worry doesn't fix anything. It only drains you. When you let things that you can't control occupy your mind, you're pouring your energy into a black hole. You're spinning your wheels, but not moving forward. Here's the thing. When we focus on the uncontrollable, we give up our power. It's as if we're handing over the keys to our energy to things outside of our control, allowing them to decide how we feel, how we react, and how we move through life. But the truth is, no one, not the economy, not the weather, not the actions of others, has the power to control you unless you let them. The moment you take your focus off what you can't control and put it on what you can, that's when you reclaim your power. It's time to let go of the need to control everything around you. Think about your day-to-day life. How many things are you trying to control that are really just a waste of energy? You're not going to be able to control someone's opinion of you. You're not going to be able to control how your coworkers behave. You're not going to be able to control global events or the outcome of situations that are simply out of your hands. And guess what? That's okay. It's okay, because when you focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your mindset, you gain something far more powerful than control. You gain momentum. Instead of worrying about the things you can't change, shift your energy toward the things you can. You can control how you respond to any situation. You can control your mindset. You can control your actions and your choices. And when you focus on what you can control, you start to see the possibilities, you start to see the opportunities, and you start to realize just how much power you actually have. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the creator of your own reality. Let's break this down a bit more. Think about a difficult situation you've been through, whether it's a personal challenge, a setback, or an obstacle that you couldn't have predicted. When that happened, what did you do? Did you obsess over the things you couldn't control? Or did you shift your focus to the things you could? The people who thrive in tough situations are the ones who stop wasting their energy on things outside their control and instead focus on how they can respond and move forward. Take a step back and ask yourself this: what do I have control over in this moment? What are the decisions I can make right now that will help me move forward? By putting your energy into those decisions, you'll feel empowered. You'll feel like you're making progress, even when the circumstances around you seem uncertain. It's easy to get caught up in the what if. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if things don't go my way? What if I fail? But what happens when you focus on the what is? What is in your hands right now? What action can you take in this moment? When you focus on the now and on what you can control, you take back your power. You stop giving it away to things you cannot influence. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're in a difficult situation at work. Maybe a project didn't go as planned, or maybe a colleague's actions have thrown a wrench in your plans. You can't control your colleague's behavior. You can't control the outcome of the project now that it's already happened, but you can control how you respond to that situation. You can choose to be calm, to take responsibility where necessary, to learn from the experience, and to move forward with a solution-focused mindset. That's what you control. Now imagine if you kept focusing on what you couldn't control. You'd spend days or even weeks ruminating over the past, stressing over things that can't be fixed. That's energy you could have used to find a solution, to move on, to take action. When you shift your focus to what's within your control, you begin to unlock new possibilities. And you start to make the situation work for you instead of letting it work against you. Every time you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you free up your energy to make a real impact on the things that matter. You'll start to feel lighter, more in control, and more capable of navigating life's challenges. You'll start seeing solutions instead of roadblocks, opportunities instead of obstacles. But you don't need to control everything around you. You just need to control how you respond. You just need to control what you focus on. And once you do that, you'll realize how much more power you have than you ever imagined. Let's talk about perfectionism, one of the biggest traps that so many of us fall into. We all know the feeling. You're working on something and you just can't seem to pull the trigger. You can't hit that go button because you're worried it's not perfect. You keep tweaking, adjusting, redoing, and overthinking. And you know what happens? You end up stuck, frozen in place while the opportunity passes you by. Perfectionism is one of the most powerful energy drainers in our lives. It's like a heavy weight around your neck, holding you back from making any meaningful progress. The reality is perfection doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a perfect moment, a perfect plan, or a perfect product. Perfection is an illusion, a moving target that keeps moving every time you think you're getting closer. And the more you chase after it, the more you feel like you're running on a treadmill, expending all this energy but not going anywhere. If you're constantly waiting for everything to be just right, you'll be waiting forever. I know, we all want to get things right. We want to do our best, but here's the truth. Waiting for perfection is the fastest way to never get started. Think about how many opportunities you've missed, how many chances you've let slip away because you were afraid of failing or not doing it perfectly. How many times have you held back, afraid to take that first step because you were terrified of making a mistake? That fear is holding you back. Perfectionism is nothing but a fear in disguise. It's the fear of being judged, the fear of failure, the fear of not measuring up. But here's what you need to realize: those fears don't define you. The way you act in spite of those fears does. The best things in life rarely come from perfection. They come from progress. They come from action. It's about taking that imperfect first step and learning along the way. It's about starting even when you don't have all the answers and allowing yourself to evolve as you go. You don't need to have everything figured out before you begin. In fact, if you wait until you feel like you're ready, you'll never start. The secret is to start before you're ready. Take that imperfect action, take a chance. And as you go, you'll refine, adjust, and improve. When you embrace progress over perfection, you realize that the mistakes are not the enemy. They're your greatest teachers. Every misstep, every failure is an opportunity to grow. It's part of the journey. Perfectionism tries to convince you that mistakes are to be avoided at all costs. But what if I told you that mistakes are actually essential to your growth? They are the building blocks of success. Without failure, without mistakes, there's no innovation, no improvement, no growth. Think about the people who've achieved great things. They didn't get there by being perfect. They got there by taking imperfect action, learning, adjusting, and moving forward over and over again. Now, I know there's a part of you that wants to do things well, to give your best. That's great. But when that desire for excellence becomes an obsession with perfection, it stops being helpful and starts being harmful. Perfectionism keeps you stuck in indecision and doubt. It paralyzes you, makes you second guess yourself, and ultimately prevents you from moving forward. So if you want to move forward, you've got to let go of the need to be perfect. I want you to think about something you've been putting off because you're worried about getting it just right. Maybe it's a project you've been working on, a new venture you've been wanting to start, or a conversation you've been afraid to have. What would happen if you just went for it, imperfections and all? What would happen if you stopped waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, or the perfect skills? What if you just took that leap, knowing you might stumble, knowing you might make mistakes, but trusting that you'll learn and grow along the way? You'd probably be amazed at how much progress you make once you release the idea that everything has to be perfect. It's time to shift your mindset from perfection to progress. It's time to stop worrying about being flawless and start focusing on making forward strides, no matter how small they are. Every step you take, even the imperfect ones, brings you closer to your goal. Perfectionism keeps you in the waiting room. Progress pushes you out into the world where you can create, innovate, and evolve. So let go of the idea that things have to be perfect. Embrace the idea that they just need to be done. Move forward, take that step, learn as you go. The best thing about releasing perfection is that you free up your energy to do what matters. You stop wasting time worrying about every tiny detail, and instead you focus on taking action. You free yourself from the fear of judgment and you start showing up as your true self, flaws and all. And that's when the magic happens. That's when the real growth begins. Perfectionism is not your friend. Progress is. When you stop worrying about being perfect, you start living freely. You start making things happen, and that's when you create the results you've been striving for. There's a powerful concept that too many people overlook, and it's one of the biggest energy drains we face on a daily basis: overthinking. We all do it. We get caught in a spiral of thoughts, constantly analyzing every decision, every conversation, every little detail. The problem is, overthinking doesn't just drain your energy, it paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck in your head, second guessing yourself, replaying the past, worrying about the future. It's like being on a hamster wheel that never stops spinning, exhausting you without ever getting you anywhere. Think about it. When was the last time you overthought something and actually came up with a better solution? The truth is, overthinking rarely solves anything. It's a mental trap that keeps you from taking action. The more you think about something, the more you magnify it in your mind, and before long it seems bigger, more complex, and more daunting than it really is. You end up wasting so much energy just thinking about what you need to do instead of actually doing it. here's the kicker. Overthinking is the opposite of progress. Progress comes from action, decisive, confident action. When you're in motion, when you're taking steps toward your goals, you learn, you grow, you adapt. But when you're stuck in a loop of overanalysis, you don't learn anything, you don't move forward, you just spin your wheels, wasting energy and time and creating mental clutter that clouds your ability to see solutions clearly. Overthinking is also fueled by fear. Fear of making the wrong decision, fear of failing, fear of what might happen if you move too quickly. But here's what you need to realize. In life, there's no such thing as a perfect decision, and there's no such thing as a guaranteed outcome. You can't control everything and you can't predict the future, but you can control your actions. And taking action, even imperfect action, is always better than staying stuck in the paralysis of overthinking. The longer you stay in that space, the more energy you waste and the further you get from your goals. When you're overthinking, you're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting your instincts, your experience, or your ability to figure things out as you go. The truth is, the more you hesitate, the less confidence you'll have in yourself. You'll begin to doubt your abilities, and that doubt will only fuel the cycle of overthinking. But when you make the decision to stop overthinking, to trust yourself, and to take the next step, that's when momentum starts to build. You start to trust your ability to handle whatever comes next. You start to learn and adapt faster because you're actually in the process of doing, not just thinking about it. Let's talk about the practical side of overthinking for a second. How many times have you found yourself stuck in a cycle of analyzing a decision? Should I take that job? Should I have that conversation? Should I make that move? And the more you think about it, the more options you come up with, the more possible outcomes you imagine, and the more overwhelmed you feel. Over time, that mental overload drains you of energy. Your mind becomes tired, foggy, and unclear, and all of a sudden the decision that once seemed simple becomes impossible to make. Now, here's the shift. Instead of spending endless hours overanalyzing, why not commit to taking one step forward? Just one. Make the decision to act. Don't worry about getting it perfect. Don't worry about having all the answers. Just take that step. Often, once you take that first step, you'll see that the situation isn't nearly as complicated as you once thought. You'll gain clarity, momentum, and confidence in yourself. When you focus on action rather than overthinking, you free up so much energy. You stop wasting precious mental and emotional resources on endless possibilities, and instead, you channel that energy into creating something real. You start making progress. And here's what happens when you start taking consistent action. The fear starts to fade. The uncertainty starts to clear up. The more you move, the more you learn. And with each step, you gain confidence and clarity, not from overanalyzing, but from doing. Overthinking also tends to keep us focused on the wrong things. We spend so much time worrying about what could go wrong that we completely miss out on the opportunities that are right in front of us. We miss the chance to learn, to grow, to experience new things. We miss the joy of the journey because we're too busy fearing the potential pitfalls. But when you let go of overthinking, you can focus on what matters: the process, the action, the learning, the growth. So how do you break free from overthinking? The first step is to recognize when it's happening. Notice when you start to get caught in that mental loop. When you're stuck, stop yourself and ask, what can I do right now? What's the next step I can take to move forward? Don't worry about making the perfect choice. Just focus on making a choice, taking action, and trusting that you'll adjust along the way. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to stop overthinking and to embrace the power of action. You've got to trust yourself. Trust that you don't need to have all the answers, that you don't need to predict the future, and that you don't need to control every detail. What you need is to take action, to keep moving forward and to learn as you go. Overthinking doesn't get you any closer to your goals, but taking imperfect action does. It's time to stop wasting energy on thoughts that don't serve you and start using that energy to create the life you want. Let go of overthinking and step into the power of action. The truth is, the more energy you invest in the wrong places, the less you have left for the things that truly matter. Stop wasting your time on things outside of your control, on the pursuit of perfection, or on getting stuck in your thoughts. Take back your power by focusing on what you can influence, by making progress instead of chasing the impossible, and by taking bold action. When you let go of these energy drains and shift your focus to what you can change, you'll see yourself moving forward with greater clarity, confidence, and momentum. So, step into the life you're meant to create and stop wasting another second on what doesn't serve you. The time to act is now.